Hello, one and all, and welcome back to another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Independence. On tonight's episode, we open our scene starting in front of the police precinct in downtown Independence, where one Lucas Cobb would be stood, having received almost a form of dead drop from a certain ex-nurse, now turned mortuary physician, suggesting that he should come at a certain time and tell the police sergeant on the front desk a certain thing. Um, Although it was actually pretty honest, he's here to see Anna, basically, and he'd be led through and they'd take it from there. And whoever else he brought with him.
I
Go,
think
Lucas.
Lucas would probably have brought Chell along with, and if Austin, are you in this scene? Sorry, out of character.
There is an obfuscated presence behind you.
Okay. He
Thanks,
probably gave
guys.
Baker.
Did I crash, or is everyone quiet?
I was more or less waiting for Lucas.
Lucas, I think you're muted.
Hello?
Okay, so Lucas has died. There we go. Hi, Lucas.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, my headset's a little. Okay. So where are we at right now?
Standing in front of the police precinct at roughly the time that you were told to turn up.
Okay. And would Chell be right there at the same time, or is she on her way?
Well, did you call her?
Yes, he would have given her this information that Anna had given him. What time to meet? What at the precinct?
She would have walked there. So she's probably approaching you right now.
And as she approaches, Lucas will give her a wave. What the hell's wrong with my headset? God damn it.
Nope, sorry. There we go. Well, just gonna walk up and give a bit of a bow. You rang?
Yeah, we're gonna, and he's gonna say this very softly. We're gonna meet with the, and kind of air quote, Ripper.
Well,
See
I
what we can
suppose
get.
you'll be the one to lead me on because the place that she mentioned doesn't exactly sound like a cakewalk for me to walk into.
It's all right. And Lucas would head in.
Chell
There is
behind
an
him.
obfuscated presence behind you.
Well, moving inside the door. Fortunately, the door taking long enough to swing closed so that the mysteriously obfuscated presence behind them could make it in after everyone else did. There was a uniformed officer kind of idly twirling a frosted donut slowly around, as though he's incredibly bored. I think Lucas's headset's given out again.
Technical difficulties. Da-da-da-da-da. We have them. Ba-da-da-da-da. We're working on getting Lucas' connection back to track. Da-da-da-da-da-da. We're still having technical difficulties. Na-na-na-na-na. Why don't you go ahead and watch the screen? Na-na-na-na-na. It's on the other side of that tab. Da-da-da-da-da. You probably opened another video while this stopped playing. Da-da-da-da-da. There he goes.
Well, oh, he's back. And there's the overlay.
He's back. There's the overlay. There's the pitch. Nope.
Excuse me. I mean, oh, you're talking about a different bitch.
So
Can you guys
let's.
hear me?
Oh yeah, we can now.
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay, so and Anna told Lucas to do what once he was inside at that time?
Sorry, what was that? What does Lucas see?
Um. Oh no, I was just asking. What did Anna tell Lucas to do once he was?
That he's just say that he's here to see Anna. And he's got an
Oh,
appointment.
just to see. Okay. And he'll walk up to this man, seemingly bored out of his mind. And he'll say
Ugh.
hello.
His head turns up slightly. Yes.
I'm here to see Anna. I have an appointment with her.
Oh. Oh, cool. Yeah. The other guy I was told about. I wasn't told about her. She with you?
Yes.
Cool. And then he leans down, opens a drawer, fumbles around for a minute. Visitors passes, and he passes each of you a little clip-on badge.
He'll
Don't
take-
go breaking any laws now.
what was that?
He hands you a couple of visitors passes and then says, "Don't go breaking any laws now, you two."
We won't.
And I don't
No, I
plan
haven't.
on it.
And I'll hand.
Okay, this way. And then he stands up and moves off into the police precinct.
And Lucas will hand one of the badge or the tags to Chell and move on down the.
And she'll just clip it on and follow behind quietly.
Question, Amelia.
Yes.
Do the visitors' passes look like anything the official officers wear? Do they have a pass that's sort of like it? I would assume that the visitors' pass is rather quite plain, doesn't have any picture on it, and I assume that an actual officer's tag would have that information or that image.
Yeah, basically it's like booking in time, and oddly the rest of it's been left kind of almost blank, as though the guy was just too lazy to do anything about it. But they don't look anything near as ornate as like actual PD or even FBI ID badges.
That's cool, but does it look physically the same? As in the same dimensions and like?
Yeah, it's roughly the same size.
Awesome. Are there any of those just laying around? More the official types. Laying on a desk or a table somewhere, something obviously left behind by somebody who is really incompetent at their job.
I am rolling me a fate die. Anything but a negative. Yeah, that totally is one. In fact, there's quite a few.
Okay then. What I want to do is, well, fuck it. Obfuscated state. Take one. Put it in my pocket. Continue walking.
You gain +1 visitor's pass for the PD.
Anything that looks more official than that, though, I should ask.
Or like an actual police department official, hey, I'm part of the police badge.
Yes.
Yeah, there's ones that they give to like, rather than the visitors passes, which are generally for like members of the public or lawyers and things like that. They've got ones that they give out to like specialists, investigators, or doctors, or specialists that they bring in to help the investigation.
I'm looking for those.
You have one of them.
Awesome. Put it in my pocket. Walking. Because I'm still obfuscated, and I still have that particular flaw that if I suddenly appeared, it could get rather awkward if anybody decided to take a second look at their phone. But I now have a disguise. And I continue walking, following the head investigators of this Camarilla Kindred Investigation Unit. Bum bum bum.
Well, they're led through the police department, which seems a lot more calmer in the months having passed since Izzy's little altercation with the police. They've apparently stopped using purely paper records and have started going digital again. Thanks, Izzy. So, as they're led through, they weave into what looks like an observation room for the interrogation room just beyond. Inside of it stands a rather short young lady with long dark hair, wearing sort of semi-trendy clothing and a long white lab coat over it, holding a clipboard, and then there's a big pile of case folders. On the opposite side of the room, there's a tall man in a dark suit with a dark tie, looking rather sort of official, as it were. And of course, the kindred will instantly recognize Anna as being that woman. Who kind of furrows her brow and looks at her watch. You're oddly early. Is there anything wrong?
No, not really. Just arrived early. Kind of want to get as much information as quick as possible.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Peralta. You can go back to your desk. And the detective that led them there kind of nods and wanders off with a sure thing, boss. And Anna's kind of motioning them into the room with a rather poignant look of, okay, come in so we can close the door.
The obfuscated presence will proceed to get on the other side of the room.
And upon entering the room, Lucas is going to activate Aspects 1.
And Chell's going to enter the room, but more or less stay near the door to act as guard.
Blink, blink, blink. Close the fucking door.
Anna makes a motion that Chell should close the door.
Chell closes the door.
And when Chell closes the door, Baker unobfuscates, looks at the rest of you. I got a fancy visitor badge. What did you guys get?
At the sudden appearance of Baker, the man in the dark suit just kind of starts slightly and kind of puts a hand to his chest, like, Jesus Christ, I didn't expect that. Anna, what kind of guys do you know?
Crap, he didn't leave the room, did he?
Nope.
Well, Vanish. Let's go with the 4th level. God damn it, I am such a bad Nosferatu. Sorry about that, guys.
It's alright.
Anna blinks a few times. Okay, so, Lucas, this is Mr. Jenner. He's one of mine.
You noticed that Baker was about to throw his hands up, and once he notices one of yours, like, okay, fair enough.
He's been the person that's supposed to be heading up the investigation in an official capacity. We've managed to work to get sort of an interview with, well, G presses a button that's on a control panel just this side, and some shutters kind of slide up, revealing a very sparsely decorated interrogation room with a single metal frame table with a single chair with a woman handcuffed to a rather sturdy looking part of the table, which was then bolted to the floor. And there's a few bits of recording equipment in there as well.
And what did you say about the guy who was in there with us in the one room?
Tall, short, dark hair, expensive looking suit that's also dark tie.
Okay. And you said
Looked
he
rather
was,
official.
and he was the head investigator of this?
The official head investigator.
Because Anna herself can't really do it. That is her persona. Okay. Baker's going to look to Anna and simply say, okay, what has your monkey found out about this woman?
Well, from what I can tell, she's confessed to everything, but I mean, I don't believe her.
What's not to believe?
Well, she can't be responsible for all of these murders.
Now you say that, but how do you know? What precludes her from doing such things?
She doesn't know any details about these three.
Are you sure about that? Her ignorance is sincere?
Well, I can't say exactly 100% without some sort of psychological analysis.
Just go with what your second sight tells you.
And Anna glances at Lucas.
Let's give a thumbs up.
Do you have any of that capability?
I have at least the ability to tell whether she is lying or not.
Okay, then, and she hands over the rather thick-looking case file. It's up to you.
Okay, Lucas, this is what I want you to do. I want you to park yourself on the other side of that double mirror, right? And I just want you to observe her under your second sight, right? Make note of when that that aura of hers goes ahead and changes subtly. All right? I'm gonna walk in there. I want to ask a few questions. Hopefully, you get some more information.
Just a quick little out of character question. Since Lucas is trying to teach her spirit sight, if she just kind of observes Lucas using it, would she be able to pick up anything on it, or?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because they already did the blood bond, but if she was just observing him using it, like maybe with a perception awareness roll, that kind of counts like maybe one of the 4 times of lessons. Yes, no?
Sure.
Alright, do you want me to make a roll, or are you just going to say that Chell just kind of sits there watching Lucas do this
You can make a
investigation?
roll and see if you're successful on it.
Alright.
Maybe I'll pick something up. Who knows?
Perception, awareness, alertness.
Awareness is a supernatural. Or empathy.
I have the same amount of dots in either. I'm also going to spend a willpower point because... Nope! This does not count. Anyways, go on.
Alright. Miss Anna, can you tell us how she was brought in?
She handed herself over.
No muss? No fuss?
Not from what the desk sergeant says.
Okay, fair enough. Simply walked in here. Did she ask to speak to anybody specifically?
Not that I know of. And she glances over at the man in the suit, who shrugs and begins explaining. No, she just came in, said she was the Ripper, and wanted to make, I don't know, amends or something. I reckon she's... My first instinct was that she was just in for the publicity.
Okay, fair enough. Do y'all have any actual evidence besides her confession?
The case files have a remarkably close resemblance to everything that she says. Now, I investigated those crime scenes myself, and I don't mean to brag, but I have a photographic memory, and she explained things a lot clearer than I can remember.
Okay. So she confessed to the crimes, and she started to divulge a lot of the details of these deaths. But you're telling me that her memory is off somehow?
No, her memory's exact.
And this has gone under some amount of scrutiny. How long did you hold this one, and how long did you question her?
I didn't question her personally. I had other things to do, and we can get on to that in a minute. Mr. Jenner? And the man in the suit steps forwards, kind of looking out through the one-way mirror at the woman. Well, she seemed very aware of what she'd done. When we started questioning her, she just sort of started detailing everything that she claims she'd done. Now, my intuition's telling me that there's something more than this. Either she's got an accomplice or there's more that she hasn't told us. I'm not entirely sure.
Did she say why? Did she explain why she was turning herself in now?
One second, need to go consult the notes. What was Char trying to do?
More or less getting a successful roll for when Lucas starts interrogating her.
Okay.
He's observing Lucas using his second sight when he does start to use it.
Okay, so back to the matter at hand. Mr. Jenner turns away from the window and glances over at Baker, folding his arms slowly across his chest. She said she told her therapist, and her therapist said that she should come in. Now, we've gone out and tried to look for that therapist, and we'd going through the means of bringing them in so we can get access to the therapist's files as well. We're currently in the process of doing that.
I believe the therapist would have a name. Don't be snotchy. What's the name?
Asking because it's someone's NPC.
Okay.
Dr. Humphrey.
Dr. Humphrey. Okay, fair enough. I don't care if I get this wrong. This is just... Well, thank you. Not only have you shown me that I am terrible at spelling, but I'm terrible at the English language. Thank you.
It's cool. It's what I'm here for.
Awesome. Okay, so Dr. Humphrey. I'm going to guess that you're still in the process of contacting this Dr. Humphrey and bringing him or her in?
Him, as far as we know. We only have the last name to work on, so we're just running through the, the business directory. We'll find him.
Okay. Okay. Has anybody else from Miss Hegwood's business actually gone missing?
Not that we know of. It's just been street gangers and, corrupt judges, that sort of thing.
Wasn't there one lady who went missing? It was a college student, and Shell's kind of snapping her fingers to try to remember. I believe her name was Charlotte Jones?
I'm not necessarily asking about that. I'm asking about this Elena chick's business. You say that she went ahead and killed her boss. I'm wondering if anybody else may have been her victim.
As far as we know, there's been no missing persons reports filed. Anna kind of shrugs. I'll go and have a look. I'm not entirely sure whether there will be. Certainly nothing's crossed my desk about it.
Fair enough. What about this woman's family? Does she have a family? Husband? Wife? We're progressive nowadays. Wife? Children? Sisters? Brothers? Anything?
As far as I know, she's a loner. We don't really know that much about her history yet, but I've been told that Mr. Jenner's people are looking into that now.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Compiling a list in my head about what I should be asking her and what I'm expecting. Anything else? Anything else to ask? Anything preliminary that would help me out here? Fortunately, at this time, I don't think I have anything else. Unless, looking at the other characters, you guys have anything you want to suggest?
I'm gonna wait for the questioning and see if I can think of anything.
Well, there's going to be one round of questioning. And maybe you guys get another round of questioning. The second round of questioning may not be as effective as the first time.
Out of character real quick, you guys said these were like seemingly religious kind of acts of the killings?
They had a religious undertone.
What did you say, Char?
They have a religious undertone, so one was crucified on the board, one was put in a praying pose impaled on a flagpole, and I believe one was pray for your... Hold on. And Chel's probably going to kind of wander over to where the case files are and, with Anna's permission, start flipping through them to the specific case she was thinking about.
And Lucas just might say maybe a little bit. Ask her about her religion in general. Maybe not a whole lot, but might help out a little.
I'll ask her about her church.
Perfect.
So a good bit of a nod. It was pray forgiveness for your sin. And one for the judge, for the one crucified, was just say no, but also not very religious. Just the pose. And she'll step back over to her post near the door.
Okay. Allow me a few seconds to get my face on. You notice that Baker's taking the time to turn away from you fellas, put his hands over his face, and essentially create a fairly ugly mask. Something that doesn't look inhuman as all fucking hell. Something that'll match this very, very nice ID badge that he just grabbed. Wink. Okay. Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Drum roll.
Looking over to the meat bag, or the blood bag, I should say. Open the door for me.
And shall we proceed to do so?
Oh, you're not the blood bag, but oh well.
Oh, I was the closest one to the door.
Closest one to the door that's holding her.
Oh.
Guys, I need a brief intermission. I have to go to my room. So, really,
We'll
please?
We will continue deliberations.
Yes, do that.
He's waiting for a meat bag to open the door.
Suddenly everything goes in a slow motion and it takes the meat bag like 20 minutes to cross the room. Or something to that effect.
Is there anything else you need to know, Lucas? This is probably the time since you're the one doing the investigating.
I think now might be a good idea to actually just tell you about the things that I've found recently. Quick out of character question. Austin, was your guy brought in to do those rituals and then did he inform Anna?
Yes. He went ahead and presented the documents to you via a secured carrier. And as far as you know, it's a psychic reading.
Oh boy. Okay, so Anna reaches across and picks up another few case files and holds them out to Lucas. These ones are rather dense. These are the autopsy files for the 3 bodies that I found in the just outside of town. They were rather odd. The first one, she sets it down, opening up the case files and just running through it very quickly. Everything is immaculately handwritten. There's pictures attached pretty much everywhere. Everything looks very, very particularly well laid out. So this man had 3rd-degree burns over 30% of his body. There were gunshot wounds in the hands, feet, shoulder, and finally the one in his chest, which is the one I believe killed him. There's water in his lungs and numerous other signs that he'd been tortured. Now that theme runs through all of them, but the second one had a single gunshot wound to the chest and then one to the head. Now these gunshot wounds match the first one, so I believe it was the same murder weapon for all 3. It looks like a single high caliber revolver, possibly maybe an automatic handgun, maybe a low caliber rifle, something like that. very close range. There's powder residue still around the edge of the wound. Now the third one looks like he died from drowning, but was then shot afterwards, possibly to make it look more in tune, in phase with the others. Possibly not. But this one was very interesting because when she reaches down and opens up a small box, bringing out a little plastic bag with a silvery bullet in. I dug this out of his spine. Now this, and I've had the metal analysed, is silver.
Was the same castings and bullets found in each of the victims?
I didn't find bullets in either of the other two, but from what I can tell, analysing this, I think it's going to be from the same weapon.
That's not great. We're dealing with crazies. We're dealing with crazies using special ammunition, asking silly questions. I hate to hear the kind of questions that they were asking. Because if they ask the wrong questions, we may have something entirely different in our hands.
Well, from what I can tell, this is just going off, and she looks really sort of not impressed that she's had to resort to this. A psychic reading. From what I can tell, they're possibly religious fanatics. They're asking about vampires. They asked about Mitch, from what I can tell. And it seems as though they were executing these men once they were done with them. Possibly just dumping them out in the forests, assuming that we wouldn't venture out that far and find them.
Okay. So those 3 bodies, they were dumped in the same place?
Yes, I found them at the same time.
They were found in Gangrel territory.
Yes, now this one, and she points at the most recent case file, is scarcely a few weeks old, whereas this one, and she points at the first one, the body dated back sometime early March, late March maybe.
Okay, okay. The crazies, probably more than one, asking stupid questions, shooting witnesses afterwards, asking questions about us, specifically names, religious fanatics. Fuck.
Yes, added to the fact that they were solely seemed to be targeting Mitch's gang, and then they started branching out into another one of the street gangs that has ties to us. I think we can extrapolate on what is actually happening here.
Okay.
And considering Mitch has gone missing, that doesn't bode well.
I don't fucking care about Mitch. Mitch gets into his own problems. What I'm worried about is the goddamn organizations out there specifically targeting us. How long has this been going on? A few months at least. And it's been a few months. Why in the world would they send that woman into this police headquarters? Didn't they think that we would catch this?
Possibly to draw us out. Now, I've taken precautions against this, so we shouldn't be all found here at the same time.
It's good to know. Good to know. I would hate to have somebody following me. This woman. She knows details about every single, well, at least most of these victims. So I'm going to guess she's one of them. And as you said, she might have been brought out as a sacrificial lamb to bring us all out. And you say what kind of measures have you done?
I would prefer to keep my methods to myself.
Are your methods reliable?
Yes.
Good. I'd hate to walk out here and have a bullet in my head.
All I'm going to say is that I don't think she's fully connected to them. If she is being used as a sacrificial lamb, then potentially she's one of, I don't know, their flock or something if they're religious fanatics. Purely because she doesn't seem to know anything about these three. Now, these three were the ones that weren't publicized.
Because these three are the actual killings, the actual interrogations. These are the people that they thought they could actually get some information from. Are these people connected to us?
These three, two of them are from Mitch's gang, and the other one is from a gang that's also associated with another vampire.
Great. Those of you with straight influences, it's time to burn them. I'm gonna make that recommendation to the. I'm gonna make that recommendation to the big boss. I'm gonna suggest that she go ahead and sort of tell everybody to burn it. Burn it as quickly as possible. Okay. So they're an organization that's currently investigating us using our street level influences, capturing them, interrogating them, getting their questions answered, getting a little bit closer. It's nice now they haven't gotten any closer to me. Shrug.
Depends. It does sound, and by the way, Chell's probably gone back over to read the psychic cases. It does kind of sound like the man who was interrogating these people was the one to get Mitch. Lucas, you did say it was a man in a Stetson that broke into his haven?
Since he's AFK, I will answer for him, and Lucas answers affirmatively. Oh, there we go.
Hey, do you happen to know what happened to our harpy? The reason why I brought it up is it has to do with this, and she'll kind of gesture over to the case files of the 3 dead missing people.
Okay, are we saying this in front of the one dude, or is the guy Anna's with? Is he okay, or do we know?
He's confirmed as a ghoul for Anna.
Okay, that's just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, what happened was, on one of the doors, this tall figure during the day pried his door handle open and tried to put it back almost like it was untouched, but we were able to see and spirit touch that. But basically, they while he was sleeping, staked him, and we can assume that they brought a vehicle close enough to the door so that they can get him in there quickly without any exposure to the sunlight.
They also rummaged through his house, but did not take anything of sell-worthy value. They didn't take any stock reports, bank account info. I believe Eric said something about some really high-quality drills they could have sold for quite a bit of money. They seem to take a lot of personal information stuff.
I went to that house after everyone was done there. It looked as though they were actively searching for something. Did you manage to find the ledger?
And she'll shake her head.
So we can safely assume that these fanatics have the ledger. And she glances at Baker.
Great.
So I think they know exactly how many we are in the city. So I would suggest that we all move.
Move out of the city?
Move havens. Maybe, I believe Isabel described the way she was doing record keeping of, she recorded the place where people could be found at.
Blink.
Most commonly, so avoid common grounds.
Mitch was also recording that as well, so if Mitch copied off Izzy's ledger, then they would have both copies of everyone's information. We should consult Isabel to find out which addresses she has. Now, I know I need to move because Mitch was the one that helped me get my house.
Lucas?
Yes?
Can you draw us a picture?
Sure.
Go ahead
back.
and
And I'll
Welcome
quickly
back.
pick out his just his notebook he uses just to do whatever with.
can you clearly see any faces from your recollection of the events that transpired at Mitch's Haven?
No, I cannot get a clear face, but he'll quickly draw what he could see of the man who broke the uh, door handle in with the crowbar. And it looks as it's just described. Get that information. Tall figure wearing a Stetson hat, black trench coat, I think. Dusted style cloak, boots, and boots. And I'll show everyone. Do you want me to make a roll for this, Amelia, or?
I don't know, Kitten?
A roll for what exactly?
Redrawing the figure I saw breaking tearing off the door handle, the doorknob out of the
Do
at
you
Mitch's
have
place.
a eidetic memory?
No.
Then I think it would be a roll, yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Charisma, expression.
No.
No.
Oh, memory. This is memory. Wow, my bad.
Probably be intelligence expression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Intelligence expression. Okay, that's one less
Please
die.
do well on this.
I know.
Spend willpower if you need to.
You
Can I
can't tell
roll?
people to spend willpower. You can't tell
Yeah,
them
no.
that. Smack.
Yeah, gosh darn.
Bad meta.
Sad face.
I'm just gonna
Sorry.
believe in the roll. God damn it.
Believe in the heart of the cards. Oh.
Fuck your cards.
You got one success though, Lucas.
Well, it's a bit better than a stick figure.
I'm gonna give him the basic shape.
Yep. Now, unfortunately for Lucas, most of the detail that he saw in the vision was shrouded by the silhouette. So
Yeah.
Lucas did indeed draw what he can remember of it, which is the basic outline and like shapes of the long coat and the Stetson on the man's head
Yeah.
and the broadness of his shoulders and how he
Lucas-
stood and held himself, but
Yeah.
not too much more detail than that.
Yeah, and Lucas is trying. You can see him you can see in his head he's trying, but he's like that's about all I can remember.
Okay. I'm gonna go over these readings. How reliable are the readings? Because just Baker is like, well, it's psychic readings, but how reliable is it?
I am told that they are as accurate as you can get, but they are psychic readings after all.
Okay. Let's look at any of the description. No, it says no. Shadow cast by Rama's hat. Pendant, silver charred chest. Pendant hanging down from neck. Pendant in shape of cross. Okay, fair enough. I think I can. Maybe I can't quite create the killer or the instigator or the investigator. But perhaps I may be able to dupe Elena in there into thinking that I'm on the inside, working with her. Alright, this is what I wish to do. I wish to take all the various details that I can and create a mask for myself that includes the, not the brim hat, because that wouldn't make sense inside a police department, but sort of the physical build of the man, as well as the general outfit. The boots, definitely. Maybe not the trench coat, but the shape of the man, the boots, and I would also like to include silver pendants into the disguise, if that's possible.
This is all that's what through Mask of a Thousand Faces.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. You got a basic description of everything.
All right, time to roll manipulation performance, difficulty 7. I will be spending a willpower. That's 6 dice, difficulty 7. 1 auto success from will. Rolling. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes.
There is a gasp from across the room as Mr. Jenner sees this happening.
Looking over to Anna, control your man.
He's never seen one of you guys before.
Looking towards Anna, control your man.
You'll be fine.
Fair enough. All right then. With the disguise in place, Baker goes ahead and again tacks on the visitor's badge, the more official and expert-looking one. Goes ahead and looks at his cropped hair, messes it down a little bit. He goes ahead and takes an appearance of any of the other officers as far as the suit goes, except for the specific details that I mentioned. All right then. I believe I'm ready to walk in. Blood bag, open the door.
Anna kind of motions at the ghoul as if to say, "Yeah, he means you." Before Mr. Jenner stands forwards, opens his jacket, pulls out a card, swipes it through the lock, and the light on the door goes green.
All right. Baker will walk in.
And as Baker is going in, just in case I forgot to mention earlier, I'm activating Aspects 1 to lower my difficulty. Yeah. For the
And
next
I
roll.
hand over to Ken.
All right. So, how successful was your mask? So, do you look like an Aussie?
I got 4 successes.
Okay.
I get to be anything I want to be.
Okay, so you don't look like Baker.
Nope.
All right.
Trying to go in Stetson.
Plus some very, very subtle jewelry.
All right. She's going to look up from. She's looking at her hands. She had them folded when you came in. She's going to look up at you with her kind of big eyes, and she's going to cant her head. Can I help you?
I believe you already have helped me as much as you are able to, ma'am. Do you mind if I take a seat?
Not at all, please.
Thank you. Kink! Metal scratching on cement. Gunk. Baker goes ahead and sits down. Okay. So, tell me. Tell me from your side of the table. What are we doing here?
What do you mean, what are we doing here? She kind of narrows her eyes.
Sorry, this isn't very professional of me, but you're Miss Elena Hegwig, right?
Hegwood, yes.
Hegwood, excuse me. Can you explain to me why you came in this or last few evening, wherever time you came in?
Oh, it's very simple. Matthew 5:21.
Mm-hmm. The meek shall inherit the earth?
No, no. You shall not murder, and anyone who murders shall be subject to judgment. I have murdered, therefore I seek judgment.
Interesting. Who did you murder?
Those who would spread sin. I'm sorry, what is your name?
My name is Alan Stewart. It's nice to make your acquaintance.
Right then, Mr. Stewart, are you a cop? Or a lawyer?
I'm somewhere in between. Here's the thing. The authorities, the police officers here, did not really believe that you were competent legally. So what they did is they went ahead and reached out to an outside organization, and somebody made a call, and that call got interrupted. And so instead of the regular guy they sent over, they decided to send me over. Now, I'm not affiliated with the PD, and I'm not quite affiliated with the DEA, but I am in a capacity to determine whether or not you are mentally capable of anything at the moment.
Ah, so we're going with the insanity charge, or the insanity plea then.
We do not know.
Hmm.
At the moment, I am just here for the courts to determine whether or not you are mentally sound.
I see. So I assume you have questions.
Yes. We are trying to get in contact with your previous doctor, Dr. Humphrey. Can you tell us where he is right now?
We did not have a very personal relationship. Though I would assume he would be at his offices. He works over on 4th Street. I believe the building number was 215. Just ask for Dr. James Humphrey.
All right, we will go ahead and, I believe we're going ahead and making all due effort to get in contact with him. But until we can do so, I need to ask you a few routine clinical questions, things your doctor would have asked you anyways. Do you consent to this?
Of course.
Okay. Miss Hegwood, do you know what day it is?
Well, I believe it is the 15th of May, Friday.
Which year?
2015.
Okay, fair enough. And you notice that Baker goes ahead and write down a few different notes. Who is the president?
Mr. Barack Obama.
Yes, that's true, actually. Okay. Do you... Well, for lack of a better term, since I can't actually find Dr. Humphrey's actual records at the moment, but Miss Hegwood, do you hear sounds that aren't there? Do you hear voices, or do you have thoughts that do not originate from yourself?
No, just memories long forgotten, now remembered.
Tell me about these memories.
Well, I suppose I should take you back to the beginning then.
If you would like. I have plenty of time at the moment to hear you out.
Very well. I was, well, born into a Mormon camp. My father had 7 wives, sister wives, as it were. My mother was scared, you see. My father became violent. Spare not the rod, she smiled very plainly. Either way, I was 12 and I was to be married. My mother wouldn't stand for it. She tried to run. He murdered her in front of me. I managed to escape out the back and sought refuge at a police station. They put me in the system after that. Though most of that I almost didn't remember until I had a panic attack one day on my job. I was supposed to go get information on a murder that had happened in a camp very close to Mexico. But you see, it reminded me, so I was kind of pushed, as it were, by my boss to seek therapy. My therapist began regression therapy, and surprisingly during that, I remembered quite a lot. Not just things that had happened in the past, but nights where I thought I'd been asleep. Missing time had been filled in with horrendous things, murders. Yet at the same time righteousness, as though perhaps I was actually doing God's work, killing these sinners one at a time and washing them of their sins.
So Dr. Humphrey, he specializes in repressed memories. Yeah, interesting. So you only recollected these memories under Dr. Humphrey's sessions, I take it, right?
Indeed.
Interesting. At this time, I would ask you, which department handled your entrance into state custody when you were very little? Do you remember?
Oh, I would believe that would be the State Department of Utah, I'm sorry, Utah.
Okay, write down. Do you remember the compound at all, where it would have been located, or if it ever came to light, what was happening there?
Oh, they never told me anything. I left Utah, I keep saying that. I left Utah very quickly after that. I was put into a state facility several states away. I thought it best out of fear he might find me. But it's probably not hard to find it. It was one of the larger ones. More than likely in the news, she nods.
Okay. Have you had any association with that past life? Or has anybody from that organization tried to contact you?
No more than when they go door to door, but I changed religion. I went from Mormon to Baptist.
Do you yourself frequent any church in Independence?
Yes, I have been going to, and she's going to give the name of a generic Baptist church in Independence. We're going to call it Westbrook Church.
I was expecting the Church of St. Vincent de Paul.
No. He's Catholic. But anyway.
Okay, very interesting, very interesting. Thank you for that. Going back to these memories that you have recollected, how far back do these recollections actually go?
Within 3 months.
So, how long have you been seeing Dr. Humphrey?
I started seeing Dr. Humphrey around December. But none of this had come up until about a month ago.
So you would say that it was only about a month ago that the repressed memory therapy produced these recollections.
Indeed, most of them had focused on my childhood, but when I told him I noticed missing time, we decided to work with my current situation as well.
Okay. Tell me about this missing time. Did you yourself notice it when it happened, or were these instances only recollected? Did you remember the blackouts during a session, or do you know that the blackouts happened beforehand?
I knew that the blackouts had started. You see, I would go to bed and then wake up, but I would feel very exhausted. Sometimes nights where I thought I was supposed to be out with my friends and colleagues from the church, I was not. I remembered it one way, and then suddenly a flash, and I would remember something else. It was confusing for me.
Okay. And this Dr. Humphrey was able to clear things up. And these memories were mostly of you murdering people?
Not all of them I murdered, no. One I did not.
Tell me about this one that you did not murder.
Call that one the false father. You see, I was walking home, and I could hear a woman screaming and crying in an alleyway. I could hear her echoes. I waited. Probably should not have, but I did. I saw this figure walk off. But when I arrived, there was a man who'd been, lack of a word, decimated, stabbed repeatedly. I could just feel the energy from it, the emotion, the rawness. I recognized him as a street serpent. He was wearing the bandana. The false father who, instead of washing the sins from his child, was drowning her in them. So like our Father, Jesus Christ, I crucified him.
You crucified him, and you let him suffer the crucifixion until he eventually expired.
No, he was expired, or gone, when I found him. Whoever the poor lamb was broke free of his sinful bond. Violently, but broke free.
Is Baker the only one that's in the interrogation room?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay, in which case, Lucas and Chell experience Anna politely but tersely excusing herself.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Lucas and Chell experience Anna politely but tersely excusing herself along as this line of question continues, and she walks out of the room.
Chell will probably open the door for her and let her out. Closing it when she's left.
And continue, people.
Right. I'm sorry if I may be asking a question over and over again. This is simply to see and to test how well your memory actually is, now that apparently the therapy has been rather successful. Can you explain that scene again for me? And you notice that Baker has written half notes in this one, and he's currently folding the paper over and beginning to write again.
And she will again repeat the story, telling you of how she saw heard the woman screaming and crying, seeing that woman walk out of the alley and off into the distance, and then coming across this body who was stabbed over and over and over, and the emotion was so thick in the air you could almost cut it with a knife. And knowing in that moment that he had to be a father who had failed his daughter horribly.
This other woman, would you recognize her if she was presented to you?
She pauses. Perhaps and perhaps not. I only saw her from behind. Small, dark hair, but I'm afraid not. The poor lamb. Who knows where she is?
I believe the department would be very, very interested in her whereabouts at the moment. Can you tell me anything about the other episodes? These recollected memories.
Being one very near that one, there was a pair. I felt the need to, after that, perhaps call out to this individual, best as I could. So I found two people, two sinners, and I put something in their drinks at a bar, waited till they got to their car, and they passed out. I drove them to the hotel room. I suffocated them. They died peacefully. After all, they were already knocked out. Then I posed them as a father holding his child the way that that father before should have held his daughter, not drowned her in the Seine.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Where did you find this couple? Which establishment?
I saw these couple at Johnson's bar. It's a very small dive, not that far from the main park of Independence.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Anything else? Any episode that you want to tell me about right now? Believe me, I empathize with your situation.
Well, there was the judge as well. The judge who bore false witness, after all. He lied repeatedly for these serpents. Snakes in the grass, they're Satan. He lied for them, let them off, let them go back out there to corrupt our children, to corrupt the lambs of God. If justice in this land is really blind. She shakes her head. No, it's not. So I removed his brain and his heart, and I posed him as Lady Justice. She kind of smirked. He was a very easy kill. He liked to drink after his cases. Expensive bottles of rum or whatever it was. I don't drink. I could tell it was expensive. Probably bought with drug money. I just slipped something into his drink. She smiled.
He looks at Elena and simply says, "You did do this."
And Elena nods.
Okay. But explain to me this. Why, after all of that, why would you stop? If you're called to do these things.
On my way to handle my boss. My boss had been sexually harassing me for several months. He wouldn't stop touching me, getting in my space, telling me if I wanted to keep my job or advance, then I'd have to do a number of horrible things. But on my way, my Bible fell out of my glove compartment, open, specifically to that passage that I quoted to you when you first came in. You shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. It was almost as though God was telling me not to do it. Yet, at the same time, I could not help myself. He was too disgusting. I couldn't allow him to continue to hurt me or other women. So, he acted irrationally. Panicked. I didn't think it through. I just did it. And in that moment, she kind of frowned a bit. Well, I did a terrible job. It was messy. I didn't feel like my message came through, and I knew that was it. I knew I was done. I went back to my psychiatrist, told him what I'd done, covered in blood, and he told me to go to the police. So I did.
At this moment, Baker will go ahead and stand up very quickly. He will not necessarily exit the room entirely. He will simply knock on the fucking door.
It was opened swiftly by Mr. Jenner.
Looking right into Jenna's face, I simply say, "You have to find this doctor right the fuck now. If he didn't contact this department, go." Closes the door. Get it done.
And he heads off out of the room.
Baker will go ahead and sit back down in front of this woman. Did you show up to the department covered in such blood?
Yes. I hadn't had time to wash myself. I felt it was appropriate to wear my sin. Either way.
Miss Hedwig, I'm going to ask you this again. Where is Dr. Humphrey?
As I told you, very likely at his office.
Do you know why he did not contact the police department?
According to him, it was doctor-patient confidentiality. If I had murdered someone in the past, he cannot report it.
Baker goes ahead, grabs the desk, shakes it just a tiny bit, and says, No, I know psychiatric law. That's not what he would have done. What happened to the doctor?
I told you. He's at his office. She's kind of hissing almost at you, like angry. He's at his office, and she'll even repeat that. He's at his office. He's at his office.
Is he?
Yes.
Does he breathe?
Yes, he breathes. Everyone breathes.
You notice that Baker goes ahead and sits his ass down, makes a few more notes to himself. Miss Hegwood, you don't want to know my official opinion about your mental state. It's rather unflattering.
That's just fine.
There'll be an officer in to continue the questioning. I'm sure they have things they wish to clarify. Is there anything else? Anything else that you want to say to either me or something you want put on the record? Because when I leave here, that's it for me. I'm not coming back. I'll be submitting my report to the sergeant currently handling this case, and I will never see you again.
She shakes her head. No.
And what would you say to the society?
The society.
I guess nothing else. I'm sorry, Miss. I'm sorry, little Elena. I thought you had grown up. I really, really did thought you grown up. I thought you had gotten out there and you had made something of your life, but no. You're just like all the rest. Every single time I find one of you kids, you're in fucked up situations like this. Why did I think that you would have gotten away? Why would I think that you had gotten away from that mess that spawned you? No, 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 I'm just being too fucking naive, too optimistic. You're just like all the rest. You have no idea what they did. None. Whatsoever.
And she just kind of stares at you, blankly, listening, nodding a little bit.
Do you know what happened to any of the other sisters?
My father killed my other sisters.
No. That's what he said. That's not what actually happened.
And you would know this how?
Goes ahead and he simply withdraws from his jacket the Mask of a Thousand Faces silver pendant and simply says, "Oh, I know." And he walks away, going ahead and opening the threshold of the door, looking back and simply say, "If you need me again, if you really want to know what happened, ask for Dr. Alan Stewart. They'll know." And he closes the door behind him. Looking to Lucas. Did you get all that?
Lucas is currently on AFK. Am I right?
Fuck!
What?
I'll give him that information over Skype and pass it on.
Yeah, but he did point out to Chell that this woman's a ghoul. Which he pointed out to Anna's ghoul. Well, anyways. she's a puppet.
I would assume so.
And she'll just kindly point over to Lucas's, maybe he went narcoleptic rogue, I don't know, but to his note and just points out the ghoul fact. Well, if I have any assumption, I believe the doctor might be the one pulling the strings.
If she is indeed bloodbound, I believe excessive use of Dominate may have been used on her.
Perhaps. I wouldn't exactly know. I don't know what that power specifically does other than make people do things.
It makes people do things. It can influence their behavior. It can also rearrange memories quite very handily, deleting, inserting, manipulating, and of course at the higher levels,
Essentially rewriting memory.
no, well, you can definitely do that. But at the higher levels, it makes it so much easier. In fact, at the higher levels, with enough time, you can make any person into simply a puppet.
Hmm.
Rewriting their psyche on a whim. 3 months? 3 months might have been enough to change that woman from whatever she used to be. And considering the history that she is going through, I do not know whether or not her memories of her childhood are in fact real. I do not know if her memories of the sexual assaults were real, or the sexual harassment were real, but both of these history items may have weakened her psyche to such a point that anybody could have made her into a puppet.
Well, can't we... Is there any sort of record we can go to confirm with?
I believe I sent somebody go ahead and fetch Anna.
And then she'll politely bow and probably go to find Anna.
Anna was standing pretty much right outside the door.
Oh, bumps right into Anna. Oh, we were just looking for you.
Oh, is the interrogation done?
Mm-hmm.
We gotta run
Mr.
to an address.
Okay.
Alright.
I believe we're going to be doing that tomorrow since Matt needs to go to bed, though.
Alright, fair enough. Baker will simply say, we need to find that doctor. We need to find that doctor now, like yesterday. She is...
So polite.
That woman right in there is signposting to us exactly where we need to be going, and we should have been in a car like 10 seconds ago.
Okay, well... Will I be needed?
You're very good with investigations, right?
Forensic investigations?
We might need that before everybody else jumps on this case.
Okay.
Before we go, I might mention that your girl in there is actually a puppet, and she may very well be a puppet to this doctor.
I know.
Okay.
I know all about that.
So I'm just stating the obvious.
Quite obvious, in fact. The
Well, this
woman-
isn't exactly. Hmm?
So, plan is to go to this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go and get my investigation kit.
I've already sent your man ahead. I hope you don't mind.
No, that's what he's useful for.
Fair enough. Excuse me, gentlemen. I have to briefly disappear. Make sure that Lucas isn't staring off into oblivion. I know that he and his ilk like to do that. Baker will go ahead and take a dark corner of the room for himself and proceed to put his obfuscate up. If need be, he will vanish. Actually, no, he will not vanish. He'll politely ask everybody to turn around.
Everybody, well, Anna slides Lucas around.
Baker will go ahead and obfuscate his best ability and be invisible yet again. Yay for obfuscate.
So do you want me to go get the van and meet you there? I believe I have to drag Mr. Cobb along with me.
I'll be along in a moment. I can have my ghoul drive me there.
Alright. I'll see you at the scene.
Don't burn anything down before I get there.
I don't believe you have to worry about it. Burning isn't exactly my favorite thing to do.
Don't crash any buses into it either. Just walk in the front door.
And Chell's rolling her eyes. Fine. You're ruining all the fun for me.
Just save myself some work in the long run.
Be sure to keep on Eddie. No? He's usually the one to do the bus. I was just on the back of it. And she's gonna start walking.
I will warn him every time. Now, don't keep Baker waiting.
Chell will give a thumbs up as she's walking away. She's gonna drop her visitor pass off at the front office as she gives a little bit of a bow and heads off to go find her car.
And Lucas follows along afterwards. So is that everyone out of the police station then?
I have no reason to remain.
Okie dokes, then this is where we'll draw our scene to an end so that I can get some sleep and we can come at this investigation at the doctor's office tomorrow or Monday or whenever. So, after everyone's gone, Anna calmly locks the observation room door, walks up to the door leading into the interrogation room with the woman in, unlocks it, steps in, closes the door behind her, and just sits down in front of her silently for a moment before she speaks. I'm Anna. I think we need to have a talk. And that is where we will end our scene for tonight. Thank you players for playing, thank you watchers for watching, and good night on another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Independence.